Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Henrietta. If you're new on here, please click the subscribe button and also turn on your notifications so that you'll be notified every time I make a new video. And if you're a regular customer, welcome back. And if you're not yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe so we can grow this YouTube fam. I said it in my previous videos, the goal is to grow the YouTube channel this year, so please hit the subscribe button. So yeah, let's just get into this video. So this video is a chit chat kind of video. As you can tell from the title, it's all about my birth story, just giving you guys all the juicy there's nothing juicy about it, but like all the events and happenings that took place on that day. So I will just get into this video. Like, this is the first time I'm doing something like this on my channel, so I honestly hope that I like the way this video turns out, because anyways, you guys will let me know. Let me know what you think, and if this is something that you want me to do more often, just sitting down and just gisting with you guys. If it's something you like, let me know so that I can look for things to come and gist you guys about. So yeah, we'll get right into this video. So when we found out we're having a baby, right, my original plan was to document everything, because this is my last baby. I'm done. This is my we're done. We're not having it anymore. So I wanted to document everything, from the pregnancy, the birth, and everything, just so that I can have these memories, because I didn't really document my previous pregnancies, maybe just a few pictures here and there, but you get the gist. So it was something that I always wished that I could do. So somehow I hope that for my last baby I would be able to do that. But my pregnancy was very it hit me hard. So let me know if it's something you want me to talk about, because I can come here and just briefly give you guys a summary of how my pregnancy journey was, first trimester, first, second, third trimester, and just go through the symptoms and how it was pretty much. But let me know if that's something you like to see. So yeah, the last thing on my mind was picking up my phone and taking pictures or anything. So it was really tough. So for my birth, I had imagined, because I had normal delivery for my first and second kids. So I honestly just assumed that the third time it would still be the same. So I had it all planned out. I really started telling my husband, you have to take pictures, even when I'm screaming, ignore me, take pictures, make videos, because I really want to have these memories. I wasn't going to share videos of me giving birth, of course, but I really wanted to have it. As mothers, you go through the process, but you actually don't know what it looks like. So I really wanted to see what it looked like, having one of my babies. So I really wanted that. So so we're just going to go right into the day we went to the hospital from there. So I'll spare you guys all the unnecessary gist. So it was okay, first of all, went to the hospital on Saturday, right? I had to go to the hospital on Saturday because I was having serious contractions. The way it happens for me, my 8 months, 9 months, I start to get false contractions. I think they call them Braxton Hicks, right? So they are false contractions, just to warm up and get your body ready. So I started to have those on Saturday the 5th. Yeah, Saturday the 5th of December. I started to have those, and it was really strong. So my mother-in-law took me to the hospital, and the due date I was given in the hospital was 11th of December, right? That was my expected delivery date. And it's either the baby either comes 2 weeks before that day or 2 weeks after that date, right? So anytime it's a plus or minus 2 weeks date range. So it was 11th of December that I was given. So remember that day on the 5th, I went to the hospital, went to see my doctor, and I kind of told her I was having pains. At that point, I was up to here with the pregnancy. I was frustrated. Like, I was tired, so tired. So she kind of understood, because she could see the frustration all over me. She's like, Madam, but you know this thing now. But you know this thing is normal. All these things you're feeling is normal. As long as you're not in labor, like, you're not having your contractions, like, back to back to back. The baby is not coming. So you've been through this before. So pretty much you know what to expect. And I actually knew what to expect, or I knew what I was expecting to come, but I was like, I was just tired. So I kind of like expressed my frustration and my tiredness, and she was like, okay, you know what, would you, and I actually suggested, like, okay, can I induce the labor, and have this baby and just get done with it, because I had induced for my second son. So yes, it was really painful, but honestly, I was willing to go through the pain just to be free and just be done, right? So when I asked her, she was like, you can, if you really want to, like, you're not a first-time mom, and your due date is just by the corner, your baby is healthy, you're healthy from all your tests and all of that, so yes, you're a good candidate to be induced. So I was like, okay, but she was like, she wouldn't feel comfortable inducing me on over the weekend, because they don't work full days during the weekend. So she asked me to come back on Monday, that was the 7th, and get induced, because she would be around for most of the day, and in case, because she's a specialist, she's gynecologist, so in case they need her, so she would be available. And I was like, okay, it's even good, give me time to go back home and prepare market runs, get things ready, packed for the boys, took them over to my mother-in-law's house, put my things ready. So it honestly just gave me time to prepare. And that's the good thing about induced labor. It doesn't take you unawares, because you have it planned. So yeah, we got to the hospital, me, myself, and Toby. What did I just say? Me, my mom, and Toby, that's my husband. So we got to the hospital on Monday morning. We're all in high spirits. I'll try to put pictures, like, I'll try to insert pictures as much as I can, like, because we were taking pictures, we got to the hospital. It was really exciting when they gave us our room. So we're all excited, like, oh yeah, we're going to have a baby. So we took pictures, and I did tell him that I wanted a lot of pictures, so he kept taking pictures. I'll share the ones that I can share with you guys. So we got to the hospital like 9, at like past 10. I was given my room, and not my room, I was given a room. God forbid I will not have a room in the hospital. So I was given a room, not my room. So I was given a room, and then we're just there, we're just chilling. And then of course, they took my vitals, and then they started the induction, like the induction process, like the inducing. I don't know if induction is a word, but they started the inducing process, like, say, maybe around midday, maybe like 11, 12, thereabout. So we did that. They gave me my antibiotic shot, and oh man, that thing made me throw up. Like, I threw my entire intestine out. It was so disgusting. So yeah, so we finished that. So they said, I should walk around to kind of like stimulate my uterus and get it, to contract faster, or to contract harder, or something, like, just to kickstart the labor process, right? So after I was done taking the medication, so we started to walk around the hospital. We walked. Like, we just kept walking and gisting. Yeah, I did notice that my contractions were getting stronger, and after a while, I would sit down. I would go back to the room, sit down for like a few minutes, catch my breath, and then we'll go back again. And even though I was really tired, I remember that I was really pushing myself, like, to walk. Like, I just kept telling myself, see, Henrietta, just put in your best effort, and before the end of the day, you have your baby. That was the only that was what I was encouraging myself with, like, okay, this is just the phase, this is just for a few hours, you know, after a few hours you're going to have your baby and all of this would have passed. So I just kept telling myself that in my mind. So it kept pushing me. I kept working. Honestly, it was tiring, it was exhausting, but you know, just kept pushing on. So let me just rush through because nothing interesting happened between, you know, that moment. I know that, you know, after a while I had to take the medication again, because medication is like periodic, so you take it after some few hours, you take your next dose, after some few hours you take your next dose. So I know that they kept coming to check my cervix. I'm so sorry for the noise, these children. They kept coming back to check my cervix, to check my dilation, like if I was dilated. So the idea is you're supposed to get a particular, I think they were going to give me I think oxytocin drip, but then I had to get dilated to a particular stage before they started that one. So they just kept it in the room and they're like, okay, when you get to, I think 4 centimeters or 5 centimeters dilated, we're going to start you on the oxytocin. So I think that one speeds up the labor process, and it's very, very painful because the nurse kept telling me, you know, you have to mentally prepare yourself for this. Like, this is like a horror movie. But she was just making fun. And I've had it before, so I kind of know that, man, the pain is out of this world. So like I was just mentally prepared for it. So, you know, my dilation was slow, it was moving really slowly. You know, they checked it like every hour, and you know, it just felt like for the longest time it wasn't making any progress. And then, you know, even when it finally made progress, it was just, you know, little. So I think from when I started the induction process, my cervix was closed. At some point it got to like 3 centimeter, and that was like midday, maybe like almost evening, I think maybe like 4 or 5, because like the last time, my previous baby, I started my induction like 12, and by 5 p.m. I had delivered my baby. So somehow we just had it in mind that, you know, latest by 8 p.m. we're done, you know, we've had this baby and we're done. And it's so funny now that I'm thinking back, because, you know, at 6 o'clock we're like, let's just wait and see how it will be by 8 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, like, let's just see how it will be. You know, we just, at some point it was like, I think this baby will come in the night too. I think this baby will come in the night, maybe 12 o'clock in the midnight. So we just kept pushing the time backwards. You know, at some point it felt like, you know, we're sure it was going to happen at this time, and then when things started looking like no progress was being made, so we started shifting the time in our head, like, okay, it will happen before this time. So at some point Toby had to go home at like 10 p.m. Like, we literally forced him to go home, me and my mom, because the hospital room would only take the patient and one other person. So they had like this couch that could be stretched into a like little bed. So the room could only contain me and him, of course, me and one other person, of course. And, you know, Mom C is more helpful because, you know, she would help me with stuff and do stuff. And, you know, he went to work, he had to go to work the next day. So we just told him to go home, you know. Bad as he bad. We would, when we have the baby, if we have the baby at night, you know, we would call him, and, you know, if not, would see him very early the next morning. You know, he would come, and he really didn't want to go, but, you know, we just forced him to go, because, like, where would you sleep? And you can't be stressing yourself. This baby does not look like he wants to come now, so just go home. So he went home, and, you know, we're still talking on FaceTime, texting and all of that. So I think at about past 12 in the midnight. And the funny thing is, at that point, I was still walking. Like, you can't even believe it. Like, I was in my room and I was just pacing back and forth. My legs were swollen. They hurt so bad. Like, I couldn't feel my legs at some point. They felt like brick. Like, it felt numb because of how much I had walked. Because, like, it was really tiring. And you know how heavy you feel when you're pregnant, or how heavy you are when you're pregnant. So imagine walking non-stop throughout the day, you know. So it's really tired. I just kept doing it because I know that, okay, I'm doing this to speed up the labor, so that the baby can come and I can rest. So you know, because every time I lay down, I would notice that my contractions would, you know, start to be less intense. So honestly, in my mind, I'm like, I just need to help myself, and I just kept working and working and working. So when the nurse came to check me at 12, she was like, you know, you need to rest. You know, she actually told me to lie down. She's like, Henrietta, take it easy, lie down. Don't burn yourself out, you know, because when this baby is coming, you're going to need your energy. Sorry, give me a minute. So you're going to need your energy to, you know, push and all of that. So don't tire yourself out. So just lie down. So she checked my dilation again, and it was about she said 4 to 5 cm. So she was like, you know what, just lie down. I'm going to start you on the oxytocin, because at that point I was really tired. She's like, just I'm going to start you on the oxytocin drip, and then let's see how it progresses from there. So I lay down. She asked me to lie down my side, so I lay down my side, and she started the drip. So when she started the drip, this was around maybe like past 12. Yeah, I started to have contractions. Like, I've always had contractions. Like, I've always been having contractions, you know, since I started the inducing process. But the contractions at that point started to get closer together, so they become coming stronger. But I think at some point I even slept off because I was really tired. I think I slept off. And then I woke up at maybe like, this was like past 1 to 2. I woke up, and I think I was trying to adjust. Like, I was trying to switch positions because I felt really sore lying down on one side. So I was trying to, like, you know, really like maybe just adjust a little. And then I just felt like something come out. Like, maybe like I peed myself or something. So I remember I told my mom, because I couldn't really like look at, you know, I couldn't really see what was going on down there. So I told my mom to call the doctor that I think my water broke, because I felt it ooze out with pressure. So I told her to call the nurse that I think my water has broke. And funny enough, in that moment, I felt a little bit excited. I felt like excitement, because it was like, yay, finally, it's happening. So only for me, when my mom passed, you know, she kind of like, maybe she panicked a little, and then she called the nurse. And then, you know, the nurse came. There was a lot of panic. That was when I realized that my water didn't actually break. It was blood that was, you know, oozing out. So at that point, I started to panic, because I know that in your labor process, you're not supposed to have that. You know, maybe a few drops of blood, but not like blood pouring out, right? So the nurse came in, you know, you could see on her face, like at that moment, like the confusion just hit her. She didn't want to panic, but of course I could see on her face that she slightly panicked, but she didn't really want to raise an alarm so that it doesn't get me worried. But I did notice that as soon as she came in, she saw the blood. She was confused. In a state of confusion, she even asked me, did you fall down? I was like, fall down how? I mean, I've been lying down on this bed. And then the first thing she does is, let's check the baby's heartbeat. Let's check the baby's heartbeat. So they put the NST machine on my stomach and started checking the baby's heartbeat. And then the baby's heartbeat was still okay. It was about 140 beat per minute. So she went out and she was calling the gynecologists, because they are on call 247, although they don't work 247, but they're always on call because they live within the hospital premises. So I overheard her. She was outside. She was calling the gynecologist. You know, I could hear her whispering, not like she was not shouting, but I mean, I could hear her voice. You know, she was saying that, you know, there's a lot of blood, and she's thinking it's a case of like placenta abruption. I did hear that, and I did hear her say, I think you should come over because like the blood is a lot. So I don't know what the doctor said to her, but then from experience, from what I have read, from what I know, at that point I knew that I was going to have surgery, because like it's not normal for your placenta to abrupt or for you to experience the amount of bleeding when labor had not even started proper, because your labor, you know, starts proper when you're like 5 or 6 centimeters dilated. That's like the active phase of labor. So I had not even got into active phase of labor, so I should not be bleeding that much. And then even while she was outside talking, you know, like the blood kept oozing out, like I could feel it coming out like in lumps. And I had my mom call the nurse again, because at that point I was really scared, like, okay, what's happening, what's going on? I started to really panic. So the nurse comes again, and she sees it, and you see the panic hit her again. She said, let's check the baby's heartbeat, let's check the baby's heartbeat. And then she checked the baby's heartbeat. You know, all the while she was with me, the other nurses were kind of like, you know, calling, because everybody had to come in that night. Like, you know, the surgery team, they don't work 2/7. So the surgery team, the doctor that would give me the anesthesia, I don't know what the anesthesiologist, whatever, the doctor that would give me the pain-killing injection, they had to call him. So they had to call everybody in that night, and they put me on oxygen. And you know, my mom was there. She panicked. She was, you know, everybody was just really trying to control their emotions around me, because they didn't want me to panic. Because at some point I started to have tears in my eye, like, oh my gosh, what's happening, my baby. And the nurse was just trying to calm me down. She's like, Henrietta, you'll be fine, the baby is fine. You can hear her heartbeat, you know, because they put the machine so that I could hear the baby's heartbeat while they were trying to get everyone around. You can see the baby's heartbeat is steady. We're going to be fine. And then at that point I tried to call Toby. Like, his phone that night, his phone packed up. Like, this thing it just feels like a movie. But his phone that was working perfectly decides to pack up that night. So I was trying to call him, I could not reach him, and somehow he was awake. And he said, like, this was like after when we were having the discussion, he said he woke up and he was just panicking, and he tried to call, or he picked up his phone, and then he saw that his phone screen had gone blank, like just like that. So luckily for him, I changed my phone during my birthday. So I had my old phone somewhere in the house, in the cupboard. So he remembered that the phone was around, so he used the phone, put his SIM card in the phone, and called us back. So I told him, no, in fact, he was not even able to call us till I had gone in for surgery, because I remember my mom was trying to call his mom. She wasn't picking. She called his dad. He wasn't picking. Tried his number. It wasn't going through, because she wanted to like just inform them and let them know what's happening, so we can all be in prayers together. But she could not reach anybody that night. And you know, it was an emergency. So as soon as the gynecologist came, she's like, no, somebody needs to sign in for surgery. So my mom was the only person around. She had to sign in for surgery. Like, they had to do the surgery immediately. And I remember that, you know, you could see the franticness, like everyone was all over the place. And you could just see that this was an emergency. Like, they could not waste any minute. In fact, I think they didn't even wait for the stretcher to come to the room. They moved me with the hospital bed, like wheeled me out of my room with my hospital bed to the theater. You know, the nurse was even trying to fix the oxygen. The doctor was like, no, leave it, we'll fix it when we get to it. Do you understand? Like, well, everything just happened like in less than 20 minutes. Like, it was the most intense period of my life. So I know that, you know, it was my first surgery. So honestly, I was scared. Like, I was really scared. So I got wheeled into the theater. Everyone was there. One of the doctors was trying to explain the procedure to me. He was like, okay, you know what, don't be scared. to take less than 30 minutes. Will be done, and you will not feel a thing, although you'll be awake. We're going to give you injection on your spine, and then you won't feel anything from your chest downwards. He was trying to explain the procedure to me and just get me to relax. They were trying to fix the oxygen, take deep breaths and all of that, trying to keep me, talking. And then when the doctor that would give me the injection, anesthesiologist, you get the point. So when the doctor came, told me to relax. It might hurt a little. I might feel sensations on my leg. This is just the injection trying to do its thing. So I remember, asked me to bend forward because they're going to put the injection somewhere on your back like that in your spine. He tried to explain the process to me, but honestly, I was not listening. So, but I know that when he gave me an injection, immediately both of my legs went numb. I could not feel a thing. I know that I was alive. I know I was there. I know that I was awake. But I could not feel a thing. If you pinch me, at that point, if they even cut my leg, I could not feel it. So I could not feel a thing. And then, they transferred me to the surgery bed. The nurses, the midwives already stationed with the baby stuff, with the pediatrician. They actually called in pediatrician that night. Shout out to my hospital, honestly. Somehow I'm happy. I just feel like God came through for us, but also good medical intervention was actually what saved my baby, honestly, because it could have gone wrong, and you don't even want to imagine what could have happened, but it could have gone terribly wrong. So everybody was stationed, they were waiting. The baby team, the pediatrician with his team and the midwives, they were there. They had set up waiting for the baby. I'd never started my surgery yet. So I remember that at some point when I lay down, it felt like I couldn't breathe properly. It felt like I was struggling to breathe, because I know that I had to be taking deep breath like that. And plus the panic and everything, because I didn't see this coming. I actually was never mentally prepared for it. And I'm someone that I like to be in a I like to be mentally prepared for stuff. I could go through the most painful thing, but let me mentally prepare myself for it. And I feel like with this surgery, I didn't even get a chance to process it, talk less of being mentally prepared for it. So so I was laying down there. I was awake. The surgery was happening. They would block your face. They would block you with this screen, so you can't really see what's going on down there. And the doctor was by my side. They didn't let my mom come into the surgery room. The hospital, they don't let people come into the surgery room. So, and maybe if it was a scheduled surgery, would have discussed that, but because it was an emergency, so I was there. One of the doctors was by my side, and he was just really nice, holding my hands, rubbing my head. He's going to be fine. You're going to be fine. Right now, your baby is almost out. Blah 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 blah. He was just kind of keeping me up to date what's happening, and honestly, I really appreciated that, because it kind of kept me calm. And I remember that honestly I was scared. And now it's funny when I think about it, but at that point it wasn't funny, because I legit thought I was going to die. Honestly, I legit thought I was going to die. And at that point I was there, I was thinking of my husband, I was thinking of my children, and somehow in my mind I'm like, God, keep this baby, I don't want to lose her, let her be fine. I was just praying. At some point I started asking for forgiveness of my sins. God, if this is the day that I see you. It feels so funny now, but honestly, it wasn't funny then. No, it wasn't funny that day. I didn't even know the surgery was going on. I didn't feel a thing. I know that I could feel movement. I know that someone was touching my stomach. I definitely know that. But I didn't even know what was happening. It felt like someone was rubbing my stomach. But all that while, the surgery was actually happening. They were cutting through and, trying to get the baby out. And I remember that I just heard the babies cry, and like there was this sense of relief that just washed over me, like, oh my gosh, like she's out, she's fine, she's even crying. So as soon as the baby came out, they handed the baby over to the pediatrician and his team. So from where I was lying down, they were by my left, so I turned and I was seeing what they were doing with the baby. So I didn't mind what was going on with me. The baby was out. That was the most important thing. So I just kept looking at them, see what they were doing with the baby. They were cleaning her up, put something in her mouth. I don't know what they were doing. But then the doctor comes and then he brings her to me and shows her to me, like, oh, look at your baby, she's fine, she's okay. But then she needs oxygen, so I have to take her to the ICU. So I'm like, okay, but she's going to be fine. So he just assured me, and then they took the baby away. And while they were stitching me up and all of that. So when they were done, they cleaned everything and they transferred me, lifted me off the surgery bed and transferred me to the hospital bed that I came in. So, and they wheeled me back to my room. And I know that, when my mom saw me, like, you could see how relieved she was. Like, she was so excited. And it honestly felt so good. I just couldn't imagine how much she would have worried. And, she would have been so nervous being there alone. I think she called my sister. She called, maybe one or two friends, just to pray together with her and just, I knew that she was praying all the while that I was gone. Maybe I was gone for like maybe 45 minutes to 1 hour. So yeah, but I came in and for a few hours, I still could not feel my body. I could not feel a thing. And they came in. I think I have pictures. My mom took pictures of me as soon as as I was brought into the room. She took pictures of me, and I would share those pictures too. Yeah. So I think it was while I was in surgery, my husband called, and then she explained everything to him. He was even saying that he wanted to come. She told him, no, it doesn't make sense. It's in the middle of the night. What if something happens to you? She's fine. Just pray for her where you are and just, everything will be fine. As soon as surgery is over, I will call you and I will let you know what is going on. So he kept calling. I know she said he kept calling to ask, is she out? Is she out? Have you seen her? And then, as soon as I came in, the first person she called him, like, okay, she's out. So I know the baby, they didn't bring the baby till like in the morning proper, because they had to keep her for a while, observe her, give her oxygen, make sure that she was doing okay, and then they gave her formula because I don't know, they gave her formula there because they came to ask us if we brought formula, and when we said no, that okay, they're going to get formula from the hospital and give to the baby. So yeah, so that was pretty much what happened. The next morning, very early in the morning, Toby came, and when he saw me, like, I could tell, he really felt my pain, because the morning, I think maybe about 4 or 5 hours after the surgery, the painkillers, the anesthesia has started to wear off. So I started to feel, the pain little by little, because immediately after the surgery, like 2 or 3 hours after the surgery, I still couldn't feel my legs. I still could not move my legs. Like, I had no control of my legs. Like, I could not move my legs. So it was just a very emotional moment for everyone. We didn't see this coming. We didn't plan for it. We didn't plan for it emotionally, physically, everyly. We didn't plan for it. And it just felt good to see that it worked out. Everything was fine. And the baby, I think it was in the morning, that's when they brought the baby to us, and I saw her for the first time, because I didn't really see her face the other time. They just showed the baby, and so I didn't really register her face when they brought her. She was so small, my gosh, like, she's the tiniest baby that I've had. I think I'm definitely sure, I'm not sure her exact weight, but I'm definitely sure she weighed less than 3 kg, maybe 2.5. And my other kids, they weighed like 3.5, 3.6. I think Jam maybe weighed 3.8 or something. So like she was really tiny, like she looked like she was going to break. She looked really fragile, and I was really scared to carry her the first few days in the hospital. I was really scared to carry her. And that first day, I know that I wasn't in so much pain immediately after my surgery, and a few hours afterwards, but it was like towards noon, evening time. That was when the pain really dawned on me, like, oh my gosh, like that was the most painful thing ever. Like the pain, when the pain meds wear off, like the pain was very intense. And then they tell you that you have to try to stand up and maybe walk around. That would help ease your bowel movement. That would help, like, stimulate bowel movement, so you can pass gas or you can poo before you eat, because if you don't pass gas, you can't take anything, even water. So yeah, I was there because the previous day when I was preparing for birth, like labor, I barely ate, because I was like, oh, I don't want to stuff myself. So I barely ate. And then emergency CS. And then the next thing they're telling me is you can't eat until you pee, or until you pass gas, or until you poop. Not even water. And I remember that I was thirsty as heck. Like I wasn't even hungry. I didn't even care for food. Like I just wanted water. I just wanted to drink water. Like I was so thirsty. We said, no, you can't have anything. You have to pass gas. And it was frustrating. It was really frustrating. And yeah, they came in the afternoon, they cleaned me up. And when it was time to walk, I'm strong and I have a high pain threshold for pain, but man, that stuff hurt. Like getting down from the bed, trying to move your legs, and then walking. I remember that I legit thought I was going to pass out. Like my eyes were turning, my head was spinning, my body was shaking, like it was shaking, literally shaking, like but anyways, I just thank God. And I just thank God for everything. Let me not bore you guys with the details of recovering, but pretty much that's like a summary of my birth journey. I know this video is pretty long, but I hope that you don't mind because there's really no way I could have summarized it. So yeah, that's like everything that happened. We stayed in hospital for a few more days we were admitted on Monday. We left the hospital. We were discharged on Friday, so we stayed in the hospital for like 4 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 5 days, yeah. So we stayed in the hospital for 5 days. And even when we got home, I had to take it easy. Climbing the stairs. I was permanently upstairs. Oh, you're taking the light. Sorry, my video might be a little bit darker, but it's not so bad. But yeah, please bear with me. So yeah, so that's like a summary of what happened on that day. If you have any questions, though, you can ask me. Follow me on Instagram, so you can send me a DM if you want to ask me like a specific question. Oh yeah, they brought the light back. If you want to ask me a specific question, I'm all for answering your questions, about like my experience. And I know it doesn't happen like this for everybody, but if you ask me any questions, I'm open to answering. So yeah, that's it for this video. I feel like I have talked too much, and if you have watched the video till this point, yeah, the real G. Yeah, the real G. So yeah, that's it for my birth video, my birth story, sorry. And I honestly want to thank God because it just taught me a really big lesson. Life is very fickle. One moment you're here, and in the next moment anything can just happen, and you won't be here again. So I learned a very big lesson. The way we're planning, trying to put everything in place, and going to the hospital to go and have a normal delivery, and within minutes everything just turned around. It just made me really, really understand that honestly, as humans, you're not in control of anything, anything at all. Anything at all, you're not in control of it. So yeah, and God is just amazing. Honestly, God is really just amazing. And every time I look at my baby girl, I just like, this is sort of love, overwhelming love, because every time I look at her, it just comes to mind that I could have lost her. I could have lost her if not for God's intervention. And the fact that we're in a place where emergencies are properly attended to. We really could have lost her. And yeah, she's really special. Like, she's really, really special. Yeah, so what happened, what caused, because the doctor came and explained what caused the bleeding. So she said that when they opened up my uterus, I think when they opened my stomach, they noticed that the baby was wrapped in the placenta. The umbilical cord had wrapped the baby like twice. So what happened was, every time I had contractions, right, and the baby was trying to come down, she was pulling the placenta from the placenta wall, right? So she was pulling the force, the pressure was pulling off the placenta. So that was what caused the bleeding. So apart from the fact that placenta was pulling off, she was in distress because she was wrapped with the umbilical cord. So like, when they told us, like, oh my gosh, like everyone had chills, because so little, she was so fragile. And then to imagine that she had gone through this kind of distress, I'm honestly just excited. Like, I couldn't explain how I felt. Like, it really felt so, like, oh, I have no words, and I really don't want to get emotional thinking about this. But honestly, it was such a relief that nothing went wrong, and I could have died of guilt, because at some point I started asking myself, why did you even ask to be induced? Why didn't you wait? So many questions. But then there's really no assurance that even if I had normal labor, what happened wouldn't have happened. So anyways, we just thank God that we're here. I'm here, she's here, her dad is here, everybody's here, and we're all doing good. But anyways, if I wasn't even sure, before we had, like, when I was pregnant with her, we're sure that it's our last baby. But this experience stamped it. Like, I'm not even trying. I'm not even, like, nothing. Permanent birth control is what I am jumping on as soon as I can. So yeah, that's the end of this video. It's getting too long, getting really, really long. So yeah, that's the end of this video. And like I said, ask me any questions if you want to. I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys, and please don't hate me for this. I'm sure that, in fact, I should stop talking. Bye, see you on my next video. Don't forget to subscribe. Ciao. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.